Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm actually getting ready for my day. I'm really excited. Andy and I are going to be spending the day together, doing a little bit of shopping and just other errands. It's going to be a really chill get ready with me, and I'm also going to be talking about products I've been loving recently. If you haven't already, it would really mean a lot to me if you would subscribe to my channel and leave a comment down below if you enjoy it. I went ahead and did my brows off camera to save time, but I'm going to be starting with this primer by NYX. This is the Honey Dew Me Up primer. And I actually discovered this primer because I recently had my makeup done by a professional makeup artist for some photos for her portfolio. I was so lucky. And she used this primer on me and I loved what it did to my skin. So I have dry skin, and usually I just prep the skin with a moisturizer, at least before I discovered this primer, because I felt like that was enough. And a lot of times, sometimes primers would make my foundation worse, just because it was an extra layer and it would emphasize texture and things like that. But this primer really plumps up the skin, it hydrates the skin, and it helps my makeup last longer without absorbing into my skin, because it creates a nice barrier between the foundation and my skin. The only thing I don't like about it is the applicator, that spatula. I'm using my hands to warm it up and press it into the skin. And also, if you notice a slight white cast, it's a sunscreen I'm testing. And I do like to take this primer all over my face except for my eyelids, obviously, because it's already covered. The foundation I'm using today is definitely not new to my channel. It's the L'Oreal Infallible Freshwear foundation, but today I'm going to be mixing it with the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filter, and this is a little mini size. This is a little bit deeper than I'd like it to be. When I initially went online to buy the trial version of this, all of the shades I originally wanted were sold out, so I just went with the next best thing, and this was just slightly too deep, but it still worked. And especially if I'm using it to blend it in with a foundation that is close to my skin tone or a little bit lighter, then you can't tell that it's too deep at all. When I first got the Hollywood Flawless filter, I honestly did not see what the hype was about until I mixed it in with my foundation. And it is so hard to describe, but what it does for the skin, it really does look like a filter on the skin. All right, so I'm mixing those together. Now I'm dotting it on the face. All right, and now I'm gonna blend it out with my IT Causemetics foundation brush. And now I'm taking the bottom of my Paw Paw sponge just to get rid of any brush marks, really airbrush everything out. For concealer, I've really been loving two products from MAC, and the first is this 24-hour Smoothwear concealer. This one is in the shade NC43. It is a little bit too light for me, so I'm going to be mixing it with my Milani Conceal and Perfect in Deep Tan. But the other product from MAC is this concealer palette. I actually have the NYX palette that's like a dupe for this, but honestly, I don't really think it's a dupe because these shades I think are better suited for my skin tone, and also I think that this lasts a little bit longer on the skin. I like to use the MAC concealer palette around my mouth where I have more deeper hyperpigmentation, and sometimes I'll use it under my eyes if they're really dark, but today under the eyes I'm just going to be using the Smoothwear concealer mixed in with a little bit of the Milani Conceal and Perfect. I was always a huge fan of the MAC Pro Longwear concealer, and I still am a fan of that one. But I do have dry skin, so it could, look a little bit dry under the eyes, especially if I was having a particularly dry day. But this Smoothwear I think is a little bit more forgiving for my dry skin type. And I've been loving this technique where you put a little bit of concealer on the outer part going up to kind of lift the face, and a thinner layer on some redness that I have on either side of my nose. This concealer, the MAC the MAC Smoothwear, is very pigmented, so you really don't need much. I just got a little bit on my hand, mixed it with the Milani, and I've been going at it. I haven't gotten any more. And while I let that concealer dry down a little bit, I'm going in with an old favorite on the face. Is the Milk Makeup Matte Bronzer Stick, and this is in the shade Blaze. And Milk, you need to extend the range on this. This product is truly, but it's trash that you have two shades. Come on. All right, and I'm going back in with that same brush I used to blend out my foundation, being very gentle, using a light hand so I don't pick up any foundation. Now I'm going to go ahead and correct around my mouth, and I actually like to use the top two shades of this MAC palette mixed together, and actually they are NC40 and NW40, and I think this product works best with the warmth of your fingers. And I'm the only one using this, so it's all good. Again, this concealer is on the pigmented side, so you don't need to use too much. And I'm using my Real Techniques setting brush to do my blending. For me personally, I need the most coverage under my eyes, right in the inner corner area, so that is the last place I will blend out. And now I'm going back in with one of the clean sides of my sponge to airbrush it all, make sure everything is nice and blended, and also pick up any excess product. So this is how the skin is looking with absolutely no powder on it. I think it looks beautiful. I love this look here. So to set everything down, I'm going to start by using the Mercier powder. This is the translucent loose setting powder. And I took just a little bit on my sponge and gently setting the area. And I like the Mercier powder because it still gives life to the skin. Like, it's not too matte even on my dry skin. It hasn't taken away all of the shine, which I love. Now moving on to a powder bronzer that I have been loving. It is this Thrive Causemetics Sun Chaser bronzer. They just recently extended the range on these. And just look at that. First of all, I was a little bit worried about the shade. This is the shade Paloma. I thought that it would be a little bit too light for me. And to be honest with you, like, as we get into the hotter months, well, we are in the hotter months, as it gets even hotter, and my skin tone, it gets a little bit deeper, I don't know that this will work, but it definitely works for me for right now. And I'm applying this using a Thrive Causemetics bronzer brush. Now, the only thing that I would say about this bronzer is I think that there needs to be another shade in between this one and the deepest one. I know that they just extended and, added 3 more to the original one, but I do think that there could definitely be another shade in between this one and the deepest. But I love using this every day, just even with or without a cream bronzer underneath. It's beautiful. It's like a perfect amount of pigmentation. Super smoothing, and of course it's packed with skin loving ingredients like all of Thrive Causemetics products. And also, for every product that you purchase from Thrive, one is donated to a woman in need. So even though the products are expensive, you're donating to a good cause, essentially. See how that gave such beautiful natural warmth without looking chalky or skipping on the skin, and it just blends beautifully over the cream products that are underneath. Now I'm going to take that same bronzer on an eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to actually use it to essentially contour my nose. Now, I don't like to necessarily contour my nose to change the shape, but I do like to just bring a little bit of dimension more back to the center of my face because I did use a lot of concealer there. And so I just put a little bit on the brush and I'm just gently blending it up into my brow. Going on the sides of my nose here. For blush, I'm taking this Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso. I've been loving this just for a really subtle pop of color that is a little shimmery. So it brings some life back to a face that I'm layering some powders on top of. And before I highlight, I'm going to go ahead and use this Shake and Glow Dew Mist by Loreal. I've been loving this stuff. This is actually my second bottle. You have to make sure you shake it up first. I love this setting mist because it does give you a nice dewy glow without looking, glittery or anything on your face. And it does extend the wear of your makeup. Not like Urban Decay All Nighter, but enough. For highlight, I'm taking out another old fave, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy. Even though I haven't really been enjoying Anastasia Beverly Hills recently, I still very much love this highlighter. All right, now for the eyes, we're gonna keep it really simple, and I'm gonna start by using that same bronzer that I used on my face on the outer portion of my eye. I like to use the same bronzer that I used on my face as a transition shade just because it helps keep everything nice and cohesive. Now I'm going into my ABH Sultry palette and going for this shade called Teak here, which is basically a shimmer shade that is my skin tone. And I'm taking it on the lid, kind of going for that model off-duty look. Now I'm taking the bronzer again and taking it in the lower lash line. And for eyeliner, I'm going to use this black liquid liner from Essence, the Super Precise Eyeliner. And I'm not going to flick it out, I'm just going to give myself a nice little thicker lash line. And now I'm taking a tiny little brush and going back into the Sultry palette, but this time I'm going for that black shade called Noir. And I'm going to line the lower lash line, but just the outer corner. A mascara I've been loving is this e.l.f. Lash It Loud mascara, and the funny thing is I didn't actually like it that much in the beginning, but it definitely gets better with age, just like a lot of mascaras. Alrighty, to finish up the look, there is this lip combo that I've been loving recently that I've been so excited to share with you guys. For the liner, I'm taking the KKW Nude 2 lip liner. I picked this up during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale for 50% off, and I really like it. And the lipstick I'm using is the e.l.f. Seriously Satin lipstick, and this is in the shade Creme. I already love this formula, but I recently picked up this shade because I needed something that was a lighter nude for my skin tone, and I love how this looks. And to finish off this combo, I'll be using the Tower28 Milky Jelly Gloss, and this is in the shade Cashew. I've been loving this gloss alone and on top of other lipsticks because it gives such a beautiful shine. It makes the lips look plump, but it also is not sticky at all. Well, here is the final look. Comment down below and let me know what you think. I think it turned out really, really nice, and I've just been loving these products recently. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm gonna go and head out with my man so we can do our shopping and run our errands, but I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Bye.